Welcome to Speaker Sport Now with Danny and Matt. Today we're going to be looking ahead to the weekend's action. First on the list, we've got a Super Sunday that provides us with some top class fixtures. Last weekend we were given a couple of great fixtures, and we've got perhaps even better this weekend. First of all, let's talk about Arsenal versus Leicester. We've all been sort of waiting for this bubble to burst for Leicester, the way their season's gone. And I think last weekend, again, away at Man City, you look at it, that's probably the hardest fixture or match they were going to get. And everyone thought that'd be the time, they lose and perhaps drop off. But they didn't. They won. And now they have perhaps equally another tough test away at Arsenal this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. The win against Man City was easily the biggest yet. To win away at Manchester City is no easy feat, and to win away so convincingly is incredible. And they're favourites for the league now. I know the bookies have made them favourites for the league, and if they get anything against Arsenal, you have to start admitting Leicester are going to win this league. It's pretty ridiculous. But Arsenal have got a great head-to-head record against Leicester. I can't remember the last time they lost against them, and obviously earlier in the season they beat Leicester quite convincingly 5-2 at Leicester.
I think but a lot has changed since then. Obviously Leicester are in better form than they were, and Arsenal perhaps aren't in as good as form since then. So it will be very different. Leicester have a lot of confidence going into the game.
I think Arsenal are a lot better defensively than what Man City are. That's obviously Man City with company are a very different prospect. But I think Arsenal are a lot better defensively, and I don't think they'll make the same mistakes as Man City. I don't think it'll be such a big margin.
But then I'd say Arsenal probably, offensively, the attack isn't as good as it is at Man City.
No,
you look at, and Leicester's defence, you look at the match. City had Aguero, Silva, Sterling, Torre all playing.
You could argue the only player missing was De Bruyne.
De Bruyne, it wasn't. They couldn't get through. They got a goal at the end when they were 3-0 down, but they couldn't get through for the entirety of 90 minutes.
Having a really good chance before.
No, well, that's because that's what I mean. They didn't, and so and Arsenal haven't been blessed with goals. I think Özil's goal against Bournemouth last weekend was their first in about 5 hours of football or something, and again the goal Leicester conceded, Sergio Aguero's goal, was the first goal they conceded in about 5 matches as well. So it will be interesting to see how this one goes, because you're right, both do have their qualities, and
like I said, Arsenal have a fantastic record against Leicester. I know this is a completely different Leicester side, and the confidence will be flying high at the minute, but I think I saw Ranieri saying you don't have to win the title. That's what's great about them, that's the pressure. Whereas Arsenal, a lot of people saying this year should be their year. Whereas Leicester don't have to win.
Is this a must-win game for Arsenal?
Oh, definitely. If they get beat here, I think they're in massive trouble. I don't think they'll get the title.
3 points against Man City. I don't think that doesn't take City out the race because they weren't as far behind. Yeah. But 3 points here. Away at home for Arsenal. If they lose 3 points, it's going to be very tough to catch Leicester down, or Spurs, or even City.
Almost certainly, because I think haven't Arsenal got to play away at Man United? I think they've got to play. I think they've got to play away at Spurs as well.
Away at Man City as well.
Away at Man City. Yeah, and they've lost against the 2 games against Chelsea, which is tough to take. And I think if they lose this weekend, I think that might be the title gone. I won't rule them completely out, but I think that might be the title gone.
Okay, well, let's look to the next fixture. Man City go up against Tottenham Hotspurs.
again, some Sunday, that is a huge game.
Who,
And
who would you say the favourite is going into this game?
I'd say Spurs. I would honestly say Spurs. I think they're more of a rounded team. Like I said, City defensively without company and not a frightening prospect. And I think Spurs defensively, this is the first team I can remember. You could always count on Spurs to be, pretty poor defensively throughout seasons. They always used to have a great attack, but they used to let in goals. But they've been brilliant this season. They've been absolutely brilliant, like defensively. And obviously, Kane gets you the goals. Ali's been the breakthrough this season. They've still got the likes of Chadley, Eriksen. Yeah, I think I would definitely make Spurs favourites for this.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be quite the same as it was early in the season when these two teams met, when it was 4-1. But yeah, I think I'd say Spurs probably are favourites to go in the game. Home form was always something you could count on with this City side, and not just because the players they're missing, but the way they're playing, they just lack a bit of leadership and fight in them. And I'm not as confident with this home game now as I would have been perhaps last season. And again, you've seen it didn't take much for Leicester to beat to get goals.
As good as Leicester were, yeah, Man City were more defensively.
And Spurs are going to create chances, and there'll be goals for both sides as well.
It'd be interesting to see the impact of Leicester result last week. A lot of people saying it might have something to do with announcing Guardiola. Maybe the players might not care as much. There's a new manager coming in. What would you say about
that? No, I wouldn't say that. I think
would you say it's had an effect though? Maybe.
Well, I suppose it's hard not to have an effect. But he's not been out with the squad just because there are certain players that perhaps aren't putting in the full effort. A bit like Chelsea, same situation, not quite to the same extent. And obviously with the injuries, Kompany being out for the season is a huge loss. They've missed Aguero and Silva out for large parts of the season, and now De Bruyne is out as well. And I would say I'm surprised he didn't bring in maybe one or two players in the January transfer window. But I imagine that he's been probably told not to.
I was going to say, I don't know about you. I was surprised that he brought off Yaya Toure. So
surprised?
You watch. Oh, he's a big player. No. You watch more than me, obviously, but I always think Yaya
I'm not surprised. I mean, I think he needs to get... I'd get him on the first plane to China, if I'm honest with you. Yeah. I mean, it's just... when I was saying about those players not performing, he's the player. I didn't name him, but as soon as you bring it up, he's just not performing. He doesn't get back, and Pellegrini centers the play around him too much when it should be Silva in that position behind the strikers, whether it's Yaya or Toure, but he doesn't track back either, and that's a big problem that he doesn't. He seems to be stubborn in changing.
What shocked me so much about that change, not that just it's Yaya Toure, it's also the captain as well. And I think it was about 5 minutes after half time that he subbed him, which I thought was a bit of a shock.
I'd be very surprised if Guardiola kept him in the squad. I don't think he's helping anyone. I think it's been. I think it's been long. Yeah, exactly. Well, I think it's been long overdue now for Yaya Toure to leave. He probably should have left at the start of the season, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think it's helped, and he's on huge wages as well, and they're not getting what they paid for.
When he does put the effort in, though, like you saw against Arsenal, I remember watching the game.
Yeah, when he does, but he just doesn't do it enough.
He's the best player in the league, I know what you mean.
He doesn't do it enough.
He doesn't do it enough. He's the best player in the league. When that game against Arsenal, he scored that great goal, and then he was everywhere. Nearly won a penalty. He nearly scored the equaliser.
There was only 5 minutes left, and when he did that, he left it too late.
There's something strange going on with him. I don't know what it is.
A win for Spurs this weekend Would you, and then maybe even say a Leicester win or a draw in that game? Would it be then a race between Spurs and Leicester to win the title? Do you think? Do you think a loss for City here would almost take them out of contention for the title?
I don't think so. City got favourable home games. We're talking about Arsenal having away games where City have got Manchester United at home. I know they're not in it, but it's a tough game. It's the derby, and they've got Arsenal at home as well. I know they've been beat off Leicester and Spurs, but City have got a good enough squad.
Yeah. I mean, you look at. You're right. There's a long way left still. The season left, and not just the games. I don't mean whether Leicester and Spurs have easier games. You might label. I think that's irrelevant. I think it only takes a couple of losses. Back-to-back losses or drop points in back-to-back games, and then you've been caught up by other teams. And Man City and Arsenal, they've both been in these positions before. One perhaps has done it better than the other, whereas they've been in these positions before where they need to get points. They know how to handle the pressure. The players know how to handle the pressure and perform when needed. And Leicester, that's something Leicester and Spurs don't have in their squad.
That's what I mean. Like, Spurs are notoriously one of the worst travelling away to big teams. Like, I remember a few times, like, before Spurs beat Milan in the season, remember Man City used to count on that game. Man City used to win 4 or 5.
Well, it's funny, yeah, because before the money came in at City, City never beat Spurs, home or away. Spurs always won. Since they put the money in 2010, I don't think they've won at the Etihad. I think the last time they won at the Etihad was when Crouch scored and they scored the Champions League. That was the last time they won at the Etihad. But not only did they get beat, I remember they get beat badly and they get outplayed as well.
You could say this is a different Spurs team. Like, this is a really,
definitely, yeah,
really good Spurs team. Like, not just like shorts like this season. Like, Kane's 21, 22, Ali's 19.
And considering he didn't score in his first eight games this season.
And Eric Dyer is such a central part. And Alderweireld as well, who I think's been one of the signings of the season. Bringing him in, who's on loan.
I don't think you question the quality of players they have or the depth in squad. I think you question whether they can handle themselves, whether they can keep going.
If they do finish, even second, this a lot.
They take the top 4. If they finish 4th, they take that.
Yeah, if they finish second, like I said,
right,
there's a lot to build on next season.
Yeah. Right. Well, let's move on to the third and final game of Super Sunday. Is Aston Villa versus Liverpool. Matt, who's a win most needed for? Do you think?
I'd probably say Villa, the position they're in, obviously rock bottom, and a win would bring them 19 points. They'd still be bottom, but we were saying a few weeks ago, 2 wins in a row makes it look, they look doomed, like before last week.
Do you think this is a game they could get 3 points? You look at how Liverpool ended that game against Sunderland.
I think so. Liverpool aren't a team that's... Listen, it's still Liverpool. It's still a good team. I don't care what anyone says. It's still going to be a tough game. But I still think they could get something out of it.
I think the season is almost done for Liverpool. I don't think... They won't get top 4. They'll finish mid-table. They're solid mid-table. And I don't think you can't blame Klopp for that. I don't think he needs to improve on the squads defensively. He needs to improve on his defence. Yeah. I think he needs a new keeper in the summer. And when he does that, then you can consider them as top 4 material.
Almost.
But you see the way they ended the game. 2-0 up with about 10 minutes to go against a team in the bottom 3. That's almost criminal.
Notoriously doesn't score as well, Sunderland. That's very bad, that. And also, I saw after last weekend's game, the 2-2 draw against Sunderland, that it worked out somewhere online that Mignolet might drop 15 points for Liverpool.
That tells you all.
incredible.
I mean, yeah.
But
You give that stat. The keeper is
think-
probably the most important. Well, it is the most important position.
Liverpool, I think the fans have got to be patient because I think, like you say, this season's almost a free run at Klopp. I think they got to give Klopp next season a free run as well. I think that squad needs completely overhauling, and the players going to need to gel in next season as well. And like in his first season at Dortmund, I think he got rid of almost 20 players. Do you know what?
It took him time at Dortmund.
It took him time. You know, I think he just needs that time. But will he get it in England?
Just quickly, but what do you view? What is your view on the tickets, the ticket prices of Liverpool, and the fans walking out of the game?
I totally agree with him. I'm a Man
Do you think it had
United
any
fan.
influence on the score, the end result?
I think it did, but it's a long-term thing. I don't think, like you said, Liverpool got nothing to play for, and drawing 2-2, you know, £77. I think they're talking. That is ridiculous. I think all the clubs, like supporters forums, put rivalries away, and they need to get together and just try the best to get through to the Premier League and the clubs. That, you know, with this TV money coming in next year, tickets should realistically be £20. You know, what are they in Germany? I think they're about
about
£20
that. Yeah.
match ticket, and about, I think, Bayern Munich, one of the best teams in Europe. You could argue the best team is £104 for the season ticket.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous compared to thingy. So I fully support Liverpool.
I think the most expensive season ticket in the whole of the Bundesliga is Schalke at about between 200 and 300 euro.
That's not even the cheapest. I don't think at some clubs, which is just ridiculous. And like
I think the cheapest in the Premier League is Man City at about £200 to £300. You know, so
it's just
right. Well, look, we're running out of time now, so we'll finish up there. Thanks for listening, and join us in next time on Speak Your Sport Now.